Hey guys, I just wanted to speak with you briefly as we are preparing for our mid-year PDPs. Your grade level assistant principals either will or should have already sent you information in preparation for that meeting, but I want to make sure that you understand what it is that we're looking for with regards to the reflection sheet, your EVOS reflection sheet that was provided for you. Each of you have access to your EVOS teacher reports, and this will be part of our discussion for PDP. And we would like for you to, before your meeting, as you're entering the other information that is requested, that you complete this reflection sheet, as it will be part of the discussion that we have. And in the reflection sheet, you will see that there is a part 1, 2, and 3 that comes from your teacher value added report, which has 4 questions. You have your teacher diagnostic report that has a few questions, and your digging deeper, which comes from your reports about your subgroups. And as you'll notice, every question is right there available to you in your teacher reports. If you're unable to log into your EVOS data report, then please see me so that I may get you your login information. But once you log into your EVOS, then you are going to see these 3 tabs, this information. And your teacher value added report, which is what we're showing here, aligns with part 1, teacher value added report. Your teacher diagnostic report, which is what we have here, is going to align with section 2 of your teacher diagnostic report. And the same thing, your custom reports will also provide information for you for your digging deeper and your subgroups. Okay. I also want to bring to your attention there is an I notice and I wonder section under each, because again, this is reflective conversation that we're going to have about what is going on or what has going on with your instruction that's contributed to your growth or lack of student growth. And that is what we are preparing to talk about in our mid-year PDPs. Okay. But just to make sure that you understand how to read your reports, there are a couple of things that you are able to do. And I'm going to go over a couple of things. But if you click on teacher reports, then you will be able to see exactly what these reports mean. You will have it's a webinar that will explain to you what the numbers mean, what the growth targets mean, what the standard error of measurement is. All those things are available to you if you just click on teacher reports. Okay, and so I just want to just make sure we're all on the same page. You're going to get in part 1, it's going to ask you what is your value added index for 2019. You will look at your value added index for 2019. This is 2019 here, the value added index for this particular teacher, for Miss Rush, we're using. Thank you so much, Miss Rush, for allowing us to use your EVOS data as an example. It is going to be a positive 3.37, and that is going to be the value added index that goes here. It's going to ask you if you exceeded, met, or did not meet growth, and in this case, it was exceeded. And you're going to do the same thing for your 2018 score as well. This is your 2018. The value added index is 0.51, which is what you will put here, met or exceeded or not. And it was met. And then you're going to look at the difference, whether you increased or decreased from 2018 2018 to 2019, by how much, and then you will conduct an I notice, I wonder. Again, just being able to, it doesn't have to be a narrative. It can be, some dots that you put down, because again, this is going to be a conversation that we're going to have within our PDP mid-year conference. Once you get into your diagnostic reports, you are going to click the tab here, your diagnostic reports. These are the only reports that you guys have access to. And so as soon as you click in or log in, you're going to see these three reports. And in these reports, the 0 here this is the state average, the average performance of students across the state on this test and in this subject. And this is the same thing here. This 0, this line is the average student across the state in this grade and this subject. I also want to show you, if you click on the average teacher in the district, you will see where you're performing versus the average teacher within the Wake County School District. This blue line here is the average performance of all teachers across the county in this subject and this grade. Okay. Once you go to your teacher diagnostic reports, you're going to see this. These are all the students that you served last year. The students are broken up across the state into the lowest, the middle, and the highest. Where it's based on where they have tested in previous years, and so they're placed into a category of the lowest performing, the middle performing group, or the highest performing, across the state. Again, they're placed in that group automatically, and this will tell you who those students were in your classes last year, who are in that lowest group, who are in that middle group, and who are in the high group. And so you'll be able to see what students were used for this measure. The yellow bar is your 2018 students. The blue bar is your 2019 students. And so you're able to compare, how you performed from one year to the next with your students. And in this case, as you can see, Ms. Rush performed very well above the state average with her high and her middle students. And while she did meet growth and is within the standard error of measurement with her low students, it was about a -1, very close to the state average, which means when students are hanging around this line, it means that they maintained their level of performance. And of course, anything above the line there is significant evidence that shows that they made growth in that year. And if you have bars below the line, there is evidence or significant evidence that show students did not, or either did not make growth or decreased in growth in that year. And so when looking at this information, you will go to your diagnostic report, and it's going to ask you the number of students in 2019, which is going to be your low, middle, and high. And in 2019, these are your numbers. These are your lowest, your middle, and your high. And in this particular situation, Ms. Rush had more students in that middle performance range across the state with regard to this test. And so that is what you are going to put, here. The growth in 2019 is going to be for your lows. It'll be a -1. This will be a +7, and this would be a +8.5. That is what you're going to put in these boxes. Well, for 2019, with just your low students, it was a -1. With your middle students, the growth in 2019 would be +7, and so on. And the form is going to ask you to do the same thing with your 2018 data. Some of you may not have 2018 data. You have to have taught the subject consecutive years in order to have a 2018 and a 2019 graph. All of you will have most of you will have a bar graph for 2019. Some of you may not have a 2018 bar graph. And so that's what's going to be included here. And again, another I notice and I wonder, just being able to look at your data and talk about some aha moments, reflection on your data, and how you can use this data to support your current instruction moving into the close of the school year. And once you go down to your diagnostic reports, with this, well, there are a couple of things with this. Your diagnostic reports, you can actually look at the students that you have or that were a part of this assessment, and you can see what their 2018 normal curve equivalency, that's what the NCE is, normal curve equivalency was, and what their 2019 normal curve equivalency was. And you can automatically see that this student made growth from the 49th percentile to the 55th percentile. And so you can go down this list, and it has all the list of students that were included in this growth measure, and it will show you'll be able to automatically see who made growth and how much growth when you look at this form here. You can also, but one of the things that we want to do with this sheet is we want to look at our subgroup data. Okay, and there's two ways that you can look at your subgroup data. You can go to your subgroups on any of the reports and really pull out what your subgroups, the progress that your subgroups made. But let's just say we wanted to do all of our African American students. You would hit submit. And when you look, it will only highlight the African American students that Ms. Rush served in that school year. And you will see the growth that was made and what students were used in determining whether or not her students made growth. And so when you look at this data, it just shows that Ms. Rush made really good gains with her African American population. As you see, almost every student, made growth. And so again, these were the students that were used in this measure. You can do the same thing. Now, the more okay, so let me back up. When you do your subgroup, you can do all of your Black male students with disabilities if you wanted to. However, we're only asking for certain subgroup data, but just for your natural curiosity, if you wanted to, look at your data and pull certain individuals or certain groups out, then you can do so. But we're only asking for you to look at these groups. Okay. And when you're looking at these groups, so you will have your female students. Let's back up for a second. If you go and look at your lowest students here, so the female students in your lowest performing subgroup, there were 5 in there. These are the five students in your lowest performing subgroups. And the question is asking you, how did the students in this group perform in your lowest subgroup? And in this case, it was a negative 3.5. And that is the number that would go here. The same thing would be your middle group, and your middle group of students were a positive 11.2. That's what would go here. And then you'd also use your high students. There were four in that. And you didn't have any, or Ms. Rush did not have any students in that category in 2019. All of her female students fell in the low to middle performing range across the state of North Carolina. And so that would be either not applicable or none. And so that's what would go into this box. Again, after you went through that process with all of your subgroups,